Wembley Stadium, the Coca-Cola Cup final, and Aston Villa are 1-0 up. The favourites are up, and I think deservedly so, John, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. They've played the more composed football. They've played as a team, they've defended as a team, attacked as a team, and they've put on a much better all-round performance.
What about the Leeds defending, Jack? As an old Leeds hero in the defence, you won't be happy about that back three always backing off.
It's very difficult to know how they're going to play, because Villa have played a lot of balls down the channels into the corners, particularly down the right-hand side, and they've always had a runner going there. And they've supported it, and they've got balls in, and they've been allowed to play the football around the edge of the box and knock it about, much sharper than Leeds have ever done. Leeds have never had anybody running in the game. I think apart from the first minutes in the first game when the ball was played up the line, we've never seen anybody running.
The goal came right way back from halfway.
Came from halfway
yeah.
line. I mean, this is a ball that Gary Speed loses in midfield. You mustn't lose balls here. But he's lost a ball there. Now, as soon as that happens, somebody's going to run at your back four. The ball's allowed to run on, but then centre-backs are forced into a line and going backwards. One of them should have gone to the man on the ball there, but they've allowed Milosevic to just look at it here and have a shot. I mean, they were in a square line going backwards, and one of them should have gone to the man on the ball.
Having said that, John, it's a wonderful finish, a lovely left foot.
Yeah, it's a great finish, but as Jack says, you can't lose the ball on the halfway line, and you're going to get punished. That's the third time that Aston Villa have had players running from deep. It seems if a Villa player wins the ball on the halfway line, he can run right into the back three.
And Pemberton backing off.
Well, he can only back off so far, then you have to make a decision. And you know, he knows he's left-footed, he's got to push him onto his right, and if he makes the challenge, he skips past it, maybe someone else can get in.
We had a very early sign, didn't we? About 13 minutes or so, you know, John Lukic had to make a very good save early on.
Well, this is a one, it was a bit lucky here, Dwight York one. He got a little bit of a ricochet here.
But they're backing off again early.
Yes, but he come back to him now. Somebody's got to come to him like lightning there, and they don't. I mean, if they laid it back, they score.
Stood up well, didn't he?
He stood up well. I don't think you know anything about it, John Lukic, actually. He just hit him in the shoulder.
Yeah.
But those sort of situations, you must come to the man that's got the ball as quick as you can. You've got to block that. You can't let people have shots with these modern balls in a game like this today. And they've allowed it, and they've been punished for it.
You would like that, John, I mean, as a striker going forward. It was another example with Andy Townsend when he was given that chance as well.
Yeah, well, you can see the difference between Leeds. You see how close Ehiok is to Yeboah. I think the Villa players can come off, get the ball, turn, and run at the back three. Here, Andy Townsend is going straight into the back three. You can't have that. You've got to have midfield players. I think the Leeds midfield players are overcommitting themselves ahead of the ball, and when they lose it, Draper, Townsend, and Taylor at times can run straight into the Leeds back three.
Does the skipper, the Gary McAllister, who we picked out, I mean, that comes into it. I don't know whether he should be playing up there or back or as the playmaker. What do you feel of that?
Well, Gary's an excellent playmaker. He likes to come and get the ball off the back four, the back three as it is here, but he also likes getting on the end of it. And unfortunately, he can't do both jobs. There are times when he's getting caught in between the two, because there are times when he comes to get it and he's got no one to hit. Or there are times he's up there.
It doesn't look to me, Gary, as if he knows what his role is today. He normally, as a midfield player, knocks the ball about. When he sees an opportunity, he'll make a run wide or he'll make a run through the middle. He's had 2 or 3 breaks right from the back and had to run the whole length of the field. But he's never had anybody at the end of it to feed the ball to. One
little chance before half-time Leeds had. A little Kelly did well here, didn't he?
This is about the only time Gary Kelly's coming into the game, and he gets the one wide here, eventually. But he's very quick, and he is capable of taking balls past people. And he's done very well here to get a cross in. Yeboah's header goes across the goals. Now, if it had been anybody else, if it had been Gary, you know, I mean...
Yeah. OK, well, Villa certainly had on points. We'll talk again, but while the finalists here plan their second half tactics, let me tell you about some world title boxing coming up on ITV next Saturday night. Exciting boxing it is as well, because it features Ireland's Wayne McCulloch, the WBC bantamweight champion of the world, against Jose Luis Bueno of Mexico. That's 11:45 ITV next Saturday. Well, here at Wembley, Villa lead 1-0. Leeds need to improve. We'll be back after this short break.
The room, it's a lonely place. In those 20 minutes before an Olympic final, the race can be lost before it's run. So I try to focus. I think about my home, about my family. And I think, who else would have sat in such a room? Emil Zatopek, John Walker, Mirut Siefter. Great names. Legends.
This is a door. This is Ronseal quick drying varnish. Brush it on and you'll have a door covered in Ronseal quick drying varnish. It's touch dry in about 20 minutes. So in about 20 minutes you can touch it and it will be dry. Of course you end up with a beautiful result or there'd be no point doing the job in the first place. It does exactly what it says on the tin.
Take a drive down memory lane. The 60s. Magic era. Empty roads. No traffic. But unfortunately, no Mondeo. No wonder people in the 60s couldn't get no satisfaction from their motoring. Give me the 90s every time. All you need is love. Well, quite possibly man, but 24 valves of pure driving pleasure, something of a priority as well. Mondeo, it makes all the difference.
Hello, loves. Everybody's talking about my new game, Julie's Instant Scratch Game. With tomorrow's Daily Mirror, there are 8 free scratch cards for every reader. There's over £100,000 to be won this week. More than 10 grand to win every day. A girl could afford to splash out. Julie's Instant Scratch. It's streets ahead. Only with the Daily Mirror tomorrow.
It's a fantasy, isn't it? I mean, just a little pub football team. Come May the 12th, we could be at Wembley.
Good morning. Just the type of weather we like. The lottery. Yeah, is he awake? He's not. Ready for it, mate?
It is a long way away, but hopefully we'll get there. Instead of watching it, we'll be playing on it.
Let's get through to the next round. Let's get a win. Concentrate. Straight from the off. Let's concentrate.
Beyond the wildest things. I mean everything. I think I speak for everybody on that pitch as well.
I do not believe it.
Even professionals can play 15 seasons and never go to Wembley.
Oh, what a save! That's incredible!
To get to Wembley, every footballer's dream.
Welcome back, Aston Villa 1-0 up against Leeds United. Let's hear from the Leeds United manager, Howard Wilkinson. He's with Jim Rosenthal.
Howard, how are you going to pull this round in the second half?
I think we've got to be brighter. We've got to keep the ball more. We've got to pass better. When I say keep the ball, I mean pass better. The goal was as a result of a not a good pass, an easy pass. It turned out to be not a good pass. You know, we've got to stick the ball at people more, pass and move more. We're giving the ball away too early in that first 30 minutes.
You've made a change. Tell us about that.
Push Brian Dean on up front, giving Andy a little bit more room because I think he's a problem running at him. And hopefully Brian can give us a bit more strength up there.
Howard, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Well, you're back in the commentary box with me, Brian Moore, and Ron Atkinson. And Brian Dean is on then for Leeds United. It's Mark Ford who's gone off. Brian Dean, who scored a couple against Everton last weekend. Oh, that's a better shot. He was Leeds Player of the Year last year. Former Sheffield United man. Villa, as we look around field, not surprisingly the same 11. They had much the better of the first half, and Sava Milosevic, with that terrific goal, puts them ahead of the game 1-0. Andy Townsend, terrific captain, inspirational motivator, as you can see. You play for him or else. The substitution's just about to be made. John Barnes, what do you make of that one?
Well, I expected Brian Deane to come on. I think that with Gary Kelly getting some good crosses in, I think that he was kicking himself that he didn't have Deane on, because Deane would have got closer to a few of those crosses. But I think they're looking to bombard the Villa defence now, put some balls in for Brian Deane and Yeboah.
OK, John, thanks a lot. And away we go then at the start of the second half. Goes Paul McGrath. Pemberton. McAllister. We've got to be brighter, says Howard Wilkinson. We've got to pass the ball better. Somehow they've got to conjure up a goal.
And they've still got to be able to contain Villa in midfield. I'm just wondering, it looks like Andy Gray's going into a sort of semi-midfield role.
Pemberton. Palmer. Ekiok for Villa. Dean's after him, hasn't had a touch yet. Meanwhile, up at Old Trafford today, Manchester United 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0, a second-half goal by Eric Cantona. United now 3 points clear of Newcastle. Newcastle, though, with 2 games in hand.
Just seen twice in the last 30 seconds the value of Brian Deane. All of a sudden, big Hugo Ehihog, who's been, for me, the dominant defender on the field, has been pressurised twice and hasn't been able to deal with anything like as comfortably as he did in the first half.
Weatherall couldn't get to that one the first time, but he did the second. There's McGrath. Deane as reliable as ever. The ball comes in once again. Weatherall's there with the header, but no problems at all. An easy bounce for Mark Bosnich. Leeds United's throw. Win in their last 6 games, not exactly overflowing with confidence, but they've certainly made a brighter start to this second half now. Palmer.
I think they've got to be very, very careful that they don't empty midfield too soon, because if they do, Draper and Townsend will cut them to ribbons.
Well, here is Draper now. Milosevic has gone wide for him. Here's Milosevic. Weatherall did well. Charles, back to Townsend. York. Leeds get it away again, though. Yeboah couldn't get on the end of it. Weatherall got on the end of that. Yeboah chesting it down. No foul. Dwight York has got behind the defence this time. Cross comes in. Oh, it bounced awkwardly there. Ian Taylor, it bounced awkwardly as well for him. Palmer. Hit long towards Deane. McAllister. Great challenge there between McAllister and Townsend, and it's Brian Deane taking it up as the Yorkshire crowds are roaring him on. And he finds Gary Speed. Andy Gray's on the outside. Deane and Yeboah in the middle. And Kelly's in there too, but so too is Bosnich.
I think the biggest single difference Brian Deane has given them is a lot of more, if you like, passion and drive and verve for the game. I mean, at least now McGrath and Ehihog know that they've got a battle on their hands and that somebody to share the load with Yeboah. But there are acres, I keep repeating this, there's acres of space in midfield because McAllister's going to drive on. Gray's not a naturally defensive midfield player, so at the moment Palmer seems to be stuck between about 3 Villa midfield players who are all very, very good at coming forward.
Deane held up there by Taylor. Speed. Got a good record, a good goal-scoring record in this competition too. Here he is again, Gary Speed. Played the ball nicely in for Andy Gray. Oh, he's done well here, Gray. And good work by Bosnich. And there's certainly more of a spark about Leeds in this second half. They've got a corner.